So hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Right now, it's just me on the stream, and I'm just gonna be hanging out, doing some drawing. Might have a friend come in or two, but until then, uh, yeah, I hope you like what you see. And if you're watching this live, feel free to ask me any questions as I work. I'm realizing I messed up the perspective a little bit on this guy. And one of the many nice things about Illustrator is I can kind of smush it around. Something better. Excuse me. So I'm getting slowly better at drawing camels. Drawn about 20 so far in the course of 6 pages. I'm a lot more than that. Never gonna get this comic done. Used to. Fortunately, I do kind of enjoy camels. Kind of weird creatures. Seems like they're always kind of strange mix of pridefulness and stupidness in their face. Kind of like that. Something like that. at a rough sketch laid out. And I kind of like the composition. I keep changing bits of it. Maybe I shouldn't. Not sure. Yeah. Yeah, maybe something like that. Some reference out. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah. I had a friend recommend that actually. That sounds really familiar. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, cool. Hound's been sending me things, and I'm thankful he's not on online right now because I was supposed to have read it by now. I only read some of it. Yeah, you know that feeling. Like, oh wow, that looks amazing. I can't wait to read that, and then I just get distracted. Oh yeah, that game looks awesome. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's yeah. I got more time. Yeah, a lot of people have been playing that. I listened to a podcast about a few days ago, and it's one I usually tune into, but they got a new host, and this guy's a Jewish convert to Christianity, and he's bringing in all these like ancient Near Eastern and like Second Temple Jewish types, and it's been interesting. I think he's kind of slowly revolutionizing the podcast, which is pretty neat. I hope maybe Heiser will show up on the podcast one day or something with some minds. What for what? Oh, jeez. Hmm. Man, good question. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. That being viewed as like targeted harassment and stuff. Oh. I just saw like an hour ago the official McDonald's account chimed in and just and, like one of these like long Twitter things that some put, like I'm an ex editorial journalist from HuffPo. If you know anything, any leads to some new jobs, just let me know. And McDonald's chimed in like a GIF of one of those banners across one of their storefronts saying, "We're hiring." Can you imagine? It's the perfect roast. Insane. Yeah, I'll find it. It's it's incredible. When official Twitter accounts for multinational corporations chime in, it's pretty bad. Yeah. The meme has been reversed. Yeah. I don't even understand how it happened, though. That's the thing. I thought people were still clicking on these things and giving them attention. Is that not the case? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I had no idea. Yeah, real. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Isn't it horrible? Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. Yeah. Which of course, like the only way to meaningfully convey something that's going to get attention, and really, honestly, that's the only reason people are tweeting is to get attention, is to do something like, I don't know, to basically to make fun of someone or to react with violence to an opposing view, you know? Like that's the only thing you can do in 200 characters. So can't be surprised. Yeah, don't you love that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wasn't I think I saw something like a month ago about Austria was um they were closing down their departments, at least in their public colleges, closing down departments that had um, degrees that basically they didn't think were contributing to the marketplace. Like that was their benchmark. So a lot of this kind of, yeah, PhD in romantic comedy wouldn't fly. And good for them. Like why would you pay, like a state school should not, I get it, a private school, you know, like they can do whatever they want, but state schools should not have stuff like this. If like taxpayer funded uh, romantic comedy degrees, awful, absolutely awful. Humanities, yeah, that's still legit. Yeah, yeah. It's still, well, it's not a studies. degree, you know. If your degree has studies after it, it's gonna be. Yeah, I think. Well, I do kind of want to say like that's a decent rule of thumb, honestly. To be honest. Yeah. Are you considering college decisions? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sensible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it didn't Heiser take like a dozen years, you know, like working full time and uh, also studying. Legit way to do it. Yeah. Yeah, that helps. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe that's why he's kind of more approachable and understands like, hey, this stuff needs to be out there at a popular level. He's one of the people. Hey, what's up? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's real. So, come on. Yeah, just we can't pay that. We can't pay for that in state sponsored schools. That's just got to go. Or hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking more and more about that too, honestly. Would have seemed pretty radical a few years ago, even. But yeah, that's true. Oh, jeez. Hey, didn't a homeschooler just marry Miss Universe like a month ago? I think I saw that. So there's that. Yeah, I gotta find that. Yeah, I gotta find the evidence. Gotta cite my sources. Oh yeah. Well, that'll be exciting. Hey, so what do you think? What do you think, Chaos, about or both of you guys really? If the flood narrative pre-exists the Babylonian period, I think I threw this at you like several months ago, Chaos, but it's, yeah, yeah. So why do we say? I mean, I get like is the only reason we're saying that Genesis 7 has a at least like a Babylonian face to it is that it like maybe some of the language is pointing in that direction, like some of the phrasing, because the narrative itself isn't distinctly Babylonian, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. It's good to ask you that in voice chat. It's probably easier to explain that way. Really? Hmm. Oh wow. I guess that's why you see it in Norse and wow. Yeah. What's that like 6,000 BC or so? Was that dispersion kind of roughly? Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah. I bought uh I bought two books I'm excited to get, and they're both on Nimrah, Word of God stuff in the Targums, and just Second Temple Jewish literature in general, and how that was, I guess, one guy, and it's really interesting. He's a non-Christian Jewish scholar. He says that the only difference between Second Temple Judaism and early Christianity is the dispute about whether or not this Jesus was actually the Messiah, not whether or not there was a divine Son of God with a, because they'd already established in the, it was already like a dominant idea that the Word of God had a hypostatic union with God Himself, which is pretty radical. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And he's not a Christian. He just doesn't think Jesus is the one, but he's like, yeah, everything in principle, we don't have any disagreement. If you're going to be uh, you're going to be a, I guess, like a conservative practicing, not just rabbinic Jew, but if you're going to take the Old Testament seriously, uh, there's nothing. The only dispute is whether or not he's the one. I thought that was a really incredible thing to say. Hmm. Oh yeah. Hmm. 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 Wow, her. Okay. Interesting. I was just about to say that. Yeah, yeah. Which plays into Islamic stuff too. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Uh, that was the one of the books I'm getting. It kind of goes like a step at a time through what what was changed basically from the Aramaic back into the when the Masoretes kind of brought things back under a Hebrew language. There's a lot of like where it says Abraham believed uh, believed the Lord and it was counted to him as righteousness. In the Aramaic, in the Targum, it says he believed in the name of the word of the Lord, and it was counted to him as righteousness. So there's a lot of stuff like that where they the Targums kind of expand on this hypostatic union idea, I guess, of there's a lot more word stuff, and that plays in. And part of the thesis of the book is that conventionally people just kind of assume like, oh, John is late. It's influenced by the Gospel of John. It's influenced by a lot of Greek ideas. Uh, you know, the word kind of logos stuff, and it could be both. And one of the two books, he's saying it's kind of an innovation, and the other guy is saying it's just straight up. Uh, it's straight up the Aramaic idea of Mimra because there's so much of that the word himself uh, standing apart and yet being identified with God and creating himself. It's not just like God. So every time there's a lot of places in the Old Testament where God speaks and he says he's speaking, then something happens. Well, in the Targums, basically, it says that the word the word's the one that is creating, and he's a personable supernatural being distinct from God. So basically, so John would be, I guess the idea is that John's he's not just trying to appeal. I mean, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't trying to appeal to like reforming Greek idea, but he might have just been working off of the things he heard in synagogue growing up, you know. So it's pretty neat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's insane. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I think it's like the stuff in the Bible that, particularly the New Testament, that the authors felt like they had to explain in detail because it was going to be hard to. He couldn't assume that his readers understood. Like those things we understand a little bit better because they argued these things out. But then the stuff that they assumed that we would be tracking with, it basically a lot of, I mean, some of it I guess maybe we've kind of held on to, but a lot of it seems like we kind of lost. You know, some of it maybe for like a millennia or more, and maybe for the first time in history we're kind of getting both at the same time. Like maybe we're beginning to track with the subtext that was assumed as well as the explicit intent. Is exciting. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, it's the first time in many centuries that they've been speaking, not just reading Hebrew, but you know, thinking and living with Hebrew, and all living in the same place and reading the Bible, and not just rabbinic stuff, and not just going to Mishnaic stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, there was something that Rob posted. It was like a year ago or something, and it changed my life. Some like Orthodox Jewish guy, scholar dude, talking about the Maimonides and all that stuff, and just kind of deconstructing the whole thing and saying, no, you can't. I don't care what the medieval. Like he was saying it very carefully too, because if you're going to be a rabbinic Jew, you can't really overthrow Maimonides. But I think the lecture series was called Bodies of God. I think that's probably what you're referring to. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I gotta buy one of his books. Does he put that out like at a popular level too, or is he's gonna? It's mhm. Yeah, mm, yeah, yeah, mm, mm. Oh gosh. always it's kind of frustrating. It's either you buy an overpriced book or you hunt through like academia.edu or something and find something for free, but it's so hard to like sift through all that. Or you oh yeah, a bit of that. That was crazy. Yeah, 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 but you're fine. No, no, no. Yeah. Yeah, but didn't they use like an algorithm to write it too or something? It's incredible. Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it takes some stones to do that. Gotta give them credit. What were they saying? Oh, oh gosh, yeah. He speaks the language. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. It's pretty disconcerting. But there's people pushing back. I guess there's a discourse again. I feel like for a few years there wasn't, but there's a discussion happening, even if it's not very as good as we'd like. At least it's happening. As people are pulling stunts like this, and turning heads. No way. Glaciology. Oh, wow. Mm. Mm. I used to listen to this a classics podcast. This guy in grad school was like interviewing professors and interesting people who were putting out papers in classics. And I stopped listening at a point where he what did he say? He interviewed someone and they said we've been getting more radical and political, and I guess taking that slash studies approach to classics for the past few years. And uh, the person they were interviewing, they were saying like, I think that's a good idea because there's I guess because of the political forces in the world right now, maybe we need to push hard left in order to keep um, to counterbalance the narrative. I guess you got to go extreme in one direction until it rights itself. Uh, hashtag Trump's America, and then then once it's back settled down again, we can act normal. I guess I had to tune out at that point because the guy agreed. He was like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's what we got to do. We just got to get radical for 4 years." Well, you're not really in classics anymore if you do that. Yeah, yeah. The propaganda ministry. Yeah, it's upsetting. I do feel like there's so many people that they there's like competing worldviews on what type of fascist state we want. You know, not whether we should have one, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Authoritarian, yeah, socialism, low key fascism, yeah. Weird times. Wonder how Australia is doing. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I tuned in a bit to that. It's like a 4 hour live stream with who was it? It was Brack, a bunch of other people discussing I think it was like Jesus mythicism a few days ago. It's pretty interesting. Nice. I went to art school, believe it or not, and I did commercial art for a while, and then I went back to school, and now my day job I do medical art. So just kind of doodling with this comic is like a just feels like fun now. It's not a job anymore. It's nice. I hope so. Worried it's pretty boring, but so like do any cool Yeah. Let me open up some older pages. It's not a bad idea. Where are these guys? Okay. There's a there's a there's two uh seraphim uh who are kind of sort of Apakalu type figures who show up, and they've been managing a cult in the at the bottom of Egypt for 1,000 years, and they've been possessing uh, a what is she, like a female seer kind of priestess class, and people have been coming to the temple. It's the Siwa temple, and the temple the cult kind of falls apart when Alexander the Great shows up, and he let's bring up one of those pages. So he performs. So basically, these two Apkallu seraphim type creatures have been teaching people that you can get back into the Garden of Eden if you uh, perform what uh, Cain was trying to do with Abel, which is you got to kill the one closest to you, uh, and you got to spill blood to get back in. That's what it's going to take, and it's going to take that level of sacrifice to do it. It's kind of like a perverted, inverted version of the gospel. So um, Alexander the Great, long story short, kind of performs half of it, and uh, kind of falls apart in anguish that he did the first half. He doesn't complete the second half, so the cultist system falls apart. The seraphim leave, take themselves back to another place, and that's basically these characters. They're going to go find the temple. They're going to discover the things I'm describing, and they're going to try and stop the kind of the resurrection of the cult system that's now being rediscovered in the Roman period. Uh, so they're trying to get back into Eden so they can uh, like the what's the Hesperidean garden is kind of what they're picturing with golden apples, and they're expecting to get eternal life from that sort of thing and be able to control who goes to Hades and who doesn't, kind of thing. And yeah. Oh, well, he did establish no one had thought of there being a son of God until Alexander the Great, right? Isn't that the yeah. Yeah, exactly. So when he gets that idea at Siwa historically, and uh, the idea of him thinking that he's divine from my fictional story is him really going there and then finding what it's going to take to get everlasting life. He's got the keys to unlocking that now. He knows what he has to do, and that's at that time. Um, so he's thinking he has to kill his best friend and lover, Hephaestion, and he's told that he thinks it's silly, it's stupid, he doesn't want to do it, so he just leaves and uh, goes with the popular narrative that we have. And then as he's traveling more east and he's having more mixed results with his conquests, he's getting a lot of you know a lot of wounds and stuff like this. He starts feeling like death is kind of approaching, so he gets Hephaestion killed, and then he regrets it immediately and doesn't perform the other half where he had to go back to the temple to receive that kind of that power. So he kind of left the gateway to Hades open, uh, just kind of swinging open, and no one was there to be there to close it again. So it, so then in the third century, where the modern the current story takes place, um, the uh, it's under like the Decian persecutions, and so they're trying to clamp down, kind of make Rome great again, kind of philosophy. They're trying to get rid of the weird Middle Eastern cult of Christianity. And they're thinking if they can fix what Alexander the Great broke, then maybe they can harness the power for themselves, kind of purify the empire, get the emperor immortal life, and establish like a golden age. So that's the idea. And Alexander, he's stuck in a like a stasis. I wish I had the page. I can't find it at the moment. He's a mummy right now, and he's half alive. He's kind of like a zombie because he half finished the thing. So they're bringing him back. It's like the Mummy movie series, kind of, which is stupid, but so he's like yeah. So yeah, it's weird, but it keeps me entertained. So what have you been reading lately, Chaos? What have you been reading lately? Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tough. Mm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's
Yeah, that sounds nice.
oh, actually, I've been.
Yep.
I've read
Oh, great.
by Michael Smith, and I recently bought Away the Gods of Canaan, written by
Hmm.
this sort of interactions, or really this similarities and engagements of like had neighbors.
Hmm.
They're just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I hope this.
Oh, that's a really good point. That's really interesting. Hmm. Would you say that the archaeology and the literature we have from Canaan uh, supports the view, agrees with the view of the Old Testament that there's a very um, to the point that any of this can be proven archaeologically, that 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 Israelites very much like kind of mixed and uh, shared cultural, kind of like a cultural admixing, I guess, between Israelites and Canaanites and uh, other cultures in the area. Like there was no like completed conquest. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Well, because my understanding, like when I read the conquest narratives, I see a failed conquest, and I see a lot of I guess secular academic types saying uh, this that I that they think they see a completed like a really successful conquest, and they think that the archaeology contradicts that. But to me, I just see at no point was Israel uh, successful. So I would expect to see in the archaeology a mixed communities from beginning to end. In that first simple period, right? Yeah. Yeah.
There's some person
Hmm.
like he lives
Hmm.
rejecting actual like
Hmm.
he lists
Oh, that'd be great.
and
Oh yeah. Oh cool. Yeah, because I just see people like every day. Like I try to use Twitter for just kind of stalking academics, so that when they put stuff out that's pretty new and fresh, like I can just kind of grab it up quickly. Yeah, and there's so many. Oh, thanks for that link. There's so many who are just kind of saying, here's more examples that the conquest was if it ever happened, was a complete failure. And I'm like, I think that's what the Bible says. So what do you on about? Yeah, yeah, oh, mm-hmm, hmm. He seems to be. I've been super impressed. Yeah, he posts stuff. When he posts stuff, I'm kind of floored. So yeah, maybe I'll ask him what he has. Like, yeah, that says something. Yeah, encouraging. Yes, yeah. So that's what started it recently for me. Yeah, people bringing that up again. Hmm. Yeah, because as best if I remember right, that the drawing and the writing are like hundreds of years apart from each other. I think. Yeah, yeah. But initially, people got excited because they thought the writing was describing the drawing, and even if it was, it wasn't. It would be like generations apart. So. Oh, cool. Hey, Step. We're talking about Yahweh and his Asherah. Uh, that the Yeah, that vase thing everyone likes talking about. Yeah, yeah. Aren't they dated? The inscription and the image, they're dated to different periods. Isn't that one of the things? Yeah. Oh, cool. Hmm. 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 Wait, even before the exile? Okay, that doesn't make sense to me, but I'll go with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Makes sense. Hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Possessive. Yeah. Okay. Like revived, I guess, in some way. Oh, neat. Oh, really? Ah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And Summer, we were talking about Summer's Bodies of God work. He kind of pushes. I mean, he goes into that with Yahweh being like localized and yet omnipresent. That kind of idea. So I guess that's the same kind of thing. Mm. Okay, so it's like hmm. So would it tie in loosely? Because you even said did you say a Levite might have written it? Or you just said a scribe, and we know it was a northern scribe. So this is similar to the like Uman and Thuman kind of. That's not really a divination, but that's like a determining the will of Yahweh by casting lots kind of motif. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And and one of those, or maybe all of them, could have been called Asherah at that period. I guess is that am I tracking with you? Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Well, okay. If that's the case, I think I'm tracking with you finally. But if that's the case, there's two figures drawn, and I'm understanding that they were drawn at a different period, but there's two figures on there, and it seems like it's connected with the inscription. So who are these two? Who are the two figures then? Okay, yeah, all right. I take it back. Oh, three. I'm bringing it up right now so I can just stare at. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, three figures. Hmm. Okay, so there's a decent chance that the inscription and the image have no correlation at all. Is that the idea? Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm finding what appears to be a translation. Um, said Asiah the king, say to Yahalel and to Yoasa and to blank, I bless you by Yahweh of Shomeron. So I guess that's like a localization thing. And by Asheratah. So that's, yeah. Mhm. Let me. So this is me Google image searching. I think, is it Dr. Stavrakopoulou? Seems to be where the image is coming from. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. 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 Oh wow. Yeah. Oh, so we have like pretty similar stuff elsewhere. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Oh wow. It's really fascinating. Hmm. Sea of Chaos. Oh, that's a that's a compelling point right there. That's pretty strong. Yeah. Why wouldn't it be plural or yeah? Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Just looking at the image, this is just I know we already debunked the image, but I'm noticing two phalluses on the main figures. So I'm assuming one of them isn't the wife of Yahweh just on that alone. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Really? Oh well. That's interesting. I was just reading earlier this week about the various names of Baal in Arabia and in the northern, like into Jordan and stuff like that. Oh, how I guess how scholars are kind of piecing together. There's so many Baals in the same principle of being localized. He may go under a different name, but you could and you could even go to a place like Petra and you'd see multiple temples to Baal, but under different names, and that just be similar to maybe like denominations are today or something like that, or just cultural manifestations where people want to worship in particular style, something that fits with their culture, but everyone understood like this is the same deity, just being expressed differently. Oh wow, wow. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, really? Wait, what doesn't that just make it Hmm. Wait, okay, so what are you saying there? Yeah, okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 Is, is that in verse 4? The vessel is made for Baal or the Asherah? Mm. Yeah. Oh, that's wow. Wow. Yes, finding the Ha Satan stuff kind of changed my life with when Heiser was pointing that stuff out, and with the serpent, um, the Nakash in Genesis 3. That threw me for a loop too. I mean, and here it is here too. I mean, that's a significant. That's a small thing, easily overlooked, but can lead to a very different interpretation. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like in that particular um, base inscription, Asherata. Is that what you're saying, or just in general? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's fascinating. Okay, so just to make sure, I just need to think out loud for 1 second to make sure I'm tracking everything you've said. So, so Asherah as a personal divine being, her worship died off in the 11th century. Did you say BC? Okay, and so for pretty much the entirety of the uh, Judges into First Temple period, if you take like a traditional dating for that, she had already been abstracted. The language, the word was in use in various forms, and we know that, and there's some kind of there's a concept being used, but it seems like it had been abstracted uh, throughout the entire, maybe the entirety of the pre-exilic period. there was some kind of abstract idea being used, and it's being tied with Yahweh himself. It's not being used as a as a as a being in her own right. It's kind of it's associated with him specifically, and in these localized areas. So maybe this is this is this is being used. There's some kind of a, you're saying, like a divination sort of practice taking place, and it's a practical use of sticks or something, or a pole to divine. Yeah. No, not just it's there's an instrument, there's a cultic instrument being used called Asherah or Asherata or something, that's being used to divine Yahweh's will, basically, right? Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Wait, so it would be it was hmm. So it would be thought of as a means of uh like ratifying a promise. Is that kind of the idea? Yeah. Like, no, no, you go, you go. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I think that's pretty. That's kind of radical within the church. Even the idea that you could be intending to worship Yahweh. Uh, you know, the the same Yahweh of your forefathers, but if you're doing it uh, at, on these high places, even if this was permissible, for your ancestors, if you're doing it at the high places when you should be doing it at the temple, where God's, like rested His Shekinah glory on, that's no longer permissible. And that God has a right. That God has a right to restrict that. It's the like strange fire kind of idea that you see in Exodus. Like you could bring in fire, but if you're not permitted, it's not. It's verboten. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. 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 That's pretty. Yeah. Yeah. He's living with you. He's yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Hmm. Oh man, those are deep cuts. Oh man, I'm gonna be thinking about this for a little while. I might have questions for you. Might have some follow ups. Do you have any idea when you'll be done with the book? Oh, nice. Sure. Hmm. Nice. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So you already have it as a paper? Have you put it out there? Is it on academia or? Oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'll wait for the book version. That's exciting. That's wow. Yeah. It's like show up to the publishing house investments and yeah, he loves that purple. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna sign off. It's late for me in the states, unfortunately. It's probably what is it like the afternoon for you? Probably. Oh, nice. Good old Diogenes. What was that horrible thing he said one time? It like seared into my brain, and I'm gonna scar you guys before I leave. Someone caught him masturbating in public. Someone said, "Yeah, you know the story." It is, yeah. But so he said something like what's wrong with this? I wish I could rub my stomach and not be hungry anymore. Horrible. Are you serious? Oh yeah. He's the troll of trolls. Yeah. Hard to live up to him. Nowadays, they might just think it's modern art. Saucy. Yeah, yeah. Probably not the intention that he was expecting.